Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. I've got a couple new toys from Kaiweets, and I'd like to show them to you and give you an example of where you can use them. These are both available on Amazon quite inexpensively. The two things right here. One is a pair of wire strippers, and one is a bunch of Ferrules. Ferrules, something like that. Ferrules. These are things that, like the tape at the end of a shoelace kind of holds it together. And this does it for wire. I had never encountered these until quite recently. Unfortunately, the size diagram of which goes with which wire size is on the back. So if you open it up, you can't look at that. So I fixed that. I'm making I did a color copy. And I got some double-sided tape and just plopped it down right there, okay? Now, let's show how this works. I've got a little example for you right here. We'll take it in as far as we can go. Okay, here on, well, first of all, what are we doing this on? We are doing this on a solar charge controller. This is one from BioEnno, which is normally a setup for their lithium-ion batteries. But I'm still using lead-acid batteries that I've had for over a decade for my solar system. So I reset this up to charge those. There's a place here where you insert the leads from the solar panel and tighten them down, and here the battery. I don't use this output for anything. This is supposed to be the output. I just take my output straight off the battery. So this acts strictly as a charge controller. Now what I had done with these, let's see, I go in this way, was to simply put some solder. I tinned it. Okay, that's sort of satisfactory. But then with this thing, I use these Ferrules. They are, they go over the wire end like this, okay? And then you can screw down onto those, and those hold the wires together. So let's see how we can use these two tools to do that. This first one is a wire stripper. Now you may ask what advantage this has over my old one. Well, it has quite a few. A couple things to be aware of. This right here is razor sharp. It's for cutting wire. Right here you got a sort of a simple crimping guide that you can use. And then up here, this is what cuts the wire. It's very interesting. It first grabs the wire and then cuts and pulls that off, and it has an adjustment right here that you can adjust in and out to get the right length for the wires. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate that on this right here. So what we're going to do, and I'll just come down in a little bit. Okay, we're going to take these wires off. Didn't quite get that one. Okay, now we want to trim this. This is number 14 wire. So number 14 is the bluish. So we gotta get this thing open, which is a bit of a challenge. There we go. Okay, and we're looking for, that's 12, the gray. So blue is for 14. And there are so many of these things crammed in here that it's just very hard to get to them. We're going to need 2. Okay, now what we do is we've got to strip the wire. Now, here's something that is just totally really cool about this. All right. I need to, let's see, we need to strip them about that long, about ½ inch. Okay, so we're going to move this guide out here to about, I want it to go just a little bit more. There we go. Is that right? A little more. Okay, now watch this. We got 2 wires in there. You're saying, wait, don't do that. You can't do that with 2 wires in there. Oh, yes, you can, except one didn't take, did it? Let's just put that in there and pop that one off. Okay, so it doesn't take every time. Now, let's see if I've gotten the gauge of the wire right. This thing will fit over the end. And with my jittery fingers, now let's get it here in the middle. This will fit over the end and go down into the ferrule. Okay, now that doesn't look like it went very much, does it? So maybe these are the wrong ones. We'll use the gray for number 12. Okay. And again, just a little twist here. And we'll put this over there. This is the problem with having old hands. There. Yeah, now that looks like we've got that thing in there. So now we're going to take the crimping tool, which is in the middle of here. And what we're going to do is, you'll see this is kind of square. Let's come down in on it again. This is kind of square right here. And we're going to put this ferrule into here, up to, and we're going to kind of press in on it to hold the wire in place and then squeeze the living daylights out of it. Okay, now let's see, does this come off? No, it doesn't come off. So let's take this other gray one right here and put that on it like that. Okay, now again we put this in here like this, holding it in, and give it a squeeze. Tough squeeze, great big squeeze. Okay, and we end up with 2 of these, not coming off. So now we bring them over to the power supply, and this right here is plus, minus, plus, minus. This is the connection to the panel. This is the connection to the battery. We'll always connect the battery first. So we stick this, get these far enough apart to put these in. Okay, as far as we can get them in. This one doesn't want to go in. Is that down all the way? Maybe not. Okay. Now, it's real hard to see in there, but there's these bars that come up and clamp onto it. So we're going to put these in like this. Okay, now we know that they're all the way in, and we're going to tighten these in place. Now, because these ferrules are kind of flat, they are going to just go up against the flat sides of this clamp. Okay, now does that come out? Either side? No. Okay, let's put the other one back in. Wherever it went. There it is. This one goes in here just the same. Okay, and we're going to try and clamp these all the way down without pulling them out. A little hard to see right there. There's screws down in here. And this pulls a clamp up onto the wire. There. Now, are those solid connections? I don't know. Those weren't. Let's try that again. Okay, let's hold it here now. There we go. Get a bite into that screw. You can't see much of what I'm doing here, can you? No, not that one. This one. Maybe that was the problem. I screwed down the wrong one. Now does that hold? Yeah. And this is ready to be reinstalled in the solar system. So we've got two things here. And these come together. The Kaiweets KDC01 self-adjusting wire crimping tool. This thing right here. And that'll really come down on top of that and make it square. So used for crimping, you can adjust the pressure here if you want. We've got a stripping tool here if you want to strip. Now, I warn you about the stripping tool. It's got a knife in it. Okay, be careful. These are tools, not toys. Now, unless you're a man, in which case often your tools are your toys. Come on. And we'll put these back in here like this. Okay, this thing comes with 1,200 terminals. Now, the smaller terminals, it's got more of. The great big giant ones like these, doesn't have so many of them. And then this thing just goes, let's see, back in there that way. Or do we have to snap it one in? I think putting this in was an extra, because that goes right there. And then that closes up for the next use. Now the wire stripper, now I just want to show you it can do two wires at once. Which wire? Let's trim that end off of it. Right there. And then we'll put it in here, right about there. And it clamps it. And okay, I cut both. Now that flew out of everywhere, so let's try that over again, shall we? We'll put this in here, holding it this time. Okay, two wires. The instructions show you can do multiple wires. Now you will want to go ahead and cut those away from each other before you put things like power poles and stuff on them. So, I like these tools. They're not very expensive on Amazon. There you go. There you go. This is general purpose wire strippers. Okay. And you've got this little adjustment for length that you can put in there. And If you need to adjust it more, you can push down on that. And it's got a little scale over here on the side. A little too small for my eyes. And then this set that will put a ferrule on the end of the wire so that you can screw it in like that. That is very cool. So, there you have it, the latest from Kaiweets. Some fun little tools, and they're not very expensive. You can look for these. This is the Kaiweets. It has a brand. The problem with this is when you go on to Amazon, you can't tell which one you're getting, because they make several sizes. This is the 8-inch. Okay, and then this right here, the KDC01, Kaiweets, Kaiweets, self-adjustable wire crimping toolkit with 1,200 pieces. Wire, they call them terminals, but I believe the technical name is Ferrules. So, which I'm undoubtedly mispronouncing. There's an interesting little, in the Google Dictionary where it talks about Ferrules, and it shows the usage over the years, and it kind of hit a peak around 1900, and it's been steadily dropping since. So we'll just call it handy wire endings, but Ferrule it is. So there you go. There you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. Tell somebody about it. Please subscribe, click like. And if you'd like to help support this channel, go to dcasler.com/support. I'm particularly grateful for my patrons at patreon.com/KE0OG. And until we next meet, 73.